Hi there, how are you? This is Loise. Welcome back to my channel. It's my hope and trust that you're doing well wherever you are. If this is your first time here, you are welcome. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. I am a regulated Canadian immigration consultant and I am based here in Calgary, Alberta. I offer immigration services and I do make videos about not just how to be eligible for these immigration programs, but also about life in Canada. Real life in Canada as we know it here. Things that people won't tell you. And these are things that can help you in making a better decision towards your immigration journey and to settle successfully when you arrive in Canada. And make sure that you're not facing the same challenges or making the same mistakes that I and other people who are here made. Okay? All right. So today I want to make a video about proof of funds for express entry. And you all know that to qualify for express entry, there is a federal requirement that you must have a proof of funds, and this is money that you should show that is in your possession. It's available to you and it's supposed to help you settle in Canada when you arrive, and just to make sure that you're not becoming homeless and that you're able to establish yourself in this country. Okay? My disclaimer though, the information that I give on my channel is for your information purposes only. Please do not take this as legal advice. If you want legal advice, if you want help, if you want anything, clarification on a personal issue, please send me an email and book a consultation. All right. So this proof of funds, okay? There are two reasons why I want to address the proof of funds, because I know we have talked about it prior. One of the reasons is that proof of funds increased in February this year. Okay, so we have new figures for that. The other reason I want to address this is because I have seen a lot of young people in their prime age for immigration to Canada. That is, they are under 31. They have met all the qualifications, like they have master's degrees or they have degrees and diplomas. They speak good English. You know, they have work experience, but these people face one challenge, especially people who come from Africa. They face one challenge in that age group. They do not have enough funds in their accounts to show as proof of funds to settle in this country. So that is always something that discourages a lot of them because, and I understand, the question is, I'm just 28. How do you expect me to come up with this much money, considering that there is a challenge in getting good jobs, good paying jobs back in Africa? So I want to tell you how to overcome that. But before we get there, I will tell you how to overcome that. But before we get there, let us just rehash on just who needs to pay this, how much is required, and then now we can get to what you can present as proof of funds. Okay? You do not need to show proof of funds if you're applying under the Canadian Experience class, or you already are authorized to work in Canada, or you have a valid job offer. Okay? So those ones, you don't need to show proof of funds. Okay? The money that you need to show depends on the size of your family. And when I say size of your family, that is you as a principal applicant, your spouse if you have any, or your common law partner if you have, your dependent children. Yes. And when I say dependent children, there is exemptions, because dependent children are children under 22. Okay, with very few exemptions that I'm not gonna get into right now. Okay, so it doesn't matter if your family, the one that we just talked about there, is immigrating with you, whether they are accompanying you or not. You must show that you have enough proof of funds to cater for everybody. And which are these amounts? So for one person, you need to show that you have 12,960, and this is in Canadian dollars. Okay, for two people, you need to show that you have 16,135. For three people, you need to show that you have 19,836. For four people, you need to show that you have 24,083. For five people, you need to show you have 27,315. Six people is 30,806. 7 people, it's 34,299. And after that, for each additional family member, you need to add 3,492. So this fee is different from what was there in January. Okay, this changed in February 2020. All right. Okay, you need to show that this funds, this amount of money is available to you for use to bring to Canada, and it must be free of loans and credit card debts, you know, anything, any liabilities. This money must be free of liabilities. Okay, all right. So what is accepted as proof of funds? Of course, as I've said, it's all the money that is readily available to you. There are things that you cannot use, and there are things that you can use. Okay, this money should be shown either in a bank statement, and when you show it in a bank statement, it's recommended that you present bank statements for up to 6 months. It's preferable to show that you have had this money either sitting in the account there for 6 months, or you've been gradually growing this money. So if you just put some huge lump sum deposits, you're going to need to show where that money came from. Just to clarify, there are some provincial nomination programs have different time requirements as to how long that money can be in the bank statement. So just make sure that you verify with the provincial nomination that you're seeking, so that you are meeting the requirements. So if some of them want maybe 3 months, others want 6 months, having that funds in your account. Okay, so what is acceptable? What is it that is not acceptable? You can show, and this is the best, you can show bank savings. So if you have your savings account or your checking account and you've had this money there, as I said, you've had it for a long time, or you've been growing it gradually over time, and it's justifiable, then that is a perfect scenario. Okay, another one, it's any amount of money that you can liquidate from your assets. Okay, I do tell people, do not liquidate your assets too early. Okay, you need to work with the right timing. Just make sure that you qualify. Don't just go selling your property today before you even know whether you qualify and you have the relevant requirements. So yeah, as long as you can liquidate your assets and you know that that is going to be easy to do that, you can count that towards your proof of funds, but you're gonna need it at hand when needed. Okay, money in joint accounts. So as I said, you can have a joint account with your mom or your sister or somebody, your spouse, as long as you have a joint account and you can show that you have full access to that fund that is in that account, and that person whom you share the joint account with has written and signed, sworn an affidavit that you can use that money for immigration purposes, then you can show that money. And that, I said, it doesn't matter whether it's your spouse, because some people do have joint account with spouses. And even if you're immigrating with your spouse, you still need to show that you have proof, you have full access to that amount of money. And the other one is, let's say you don't have the money in your account, but your spouse does have a lot of money. You can also show that money. However, your spouse must swear an affidavit and give written authority to say that you have full access to his or her money. Okay? And that they are allowing you to use that money for immigration purposes. Number 5. This is very important. Remember about the people that I talked about. These people who don't have money, they are young, they have everything going for them, but then again, they don't have that money. There is something called a gift deed. And a gift deed is you can get a gift deed from anybody. You can get it either from a friend, but most preferably it's needed to come from family. It shows more strength when it comes from family. And what that consists of is that you have this money that has been given to you by a donor who has voluntarily who is volunteering to transfer their property to you, you as the recipient, as the applicant, without the expectation of a payback. That is a gift deed. Of course, there's a whole legal definition of that. There's a whole definition of just how a gift deed should be written, the government requirements, the bank requirements. But good news is you may not necessarily have that money, but if your mom is willing, if your auntie is willing to give you that money, then you can come up with a gift deed. Okay, so if you're invited to apply, you've qualified, but the only challenge you have is that you don't have that money, but you know it's your dream to go to Canada, you can consider approaching your relative to help you with that kind of money, as long as it meets the requirements of a gift deed. This is something that I have seen used by a lot of people. You won't believe it. You know, I saw someone say, unfortunately, I think Canada is a country for the rich. Only rich people can immigrate to Canada. And I think that is so far from the truth. Not everybody has that amount of money. So if you're meeting every other requirement, do not let money be the hindrance. Okay, as long as this money is not borrowed to be returned, someone can give you that. You can work with your relatives, you guys can work together. I have seen people, and I'll say, I'm not gonna say from which country, but I have seen people who do work together, you know, like relatives. This year you help the person with the highest chances, and you guys, you gift deed them, and they qualified because maybe money was the only challenge they were facing. You gift deed them, they arrive here, and then later on you're able to help someone else. And that is how families immigrate, a lot of them. So if your family, you're full of well-educated people, you feeling like you guys want to immigrate, you guys can work together. You can help each other. I have seen communities do that, and that's how people are able to come here with their families. Guess what? When you come here with your families, you have a good support system, because you have that community. You're able to bring your children together so your kids have, you know, they have some relatives, you know, you can always visit your sister, your cousin. So there's that sense of community, and you're happier because you're not missing so much. It's not like you're all alone in this country. Okay, so do not let money be a challenge. Do not let money be a challenge. What is not acceptable? What is not acceptable is anything that you cannot liquidate. So you cannot use property. You cannot use your real estate property. You can't use your shares or bonds. You can't use other possessions like jewelry. You can't use things like bitcoins. But if you can liquidate that and have that as available cash to you, then that is acceptable. Okay? All right. So that is all that I want to talk about proof of funds. Again, please, don't let money be that challenge that you cannot overcome. While you are qualified, you have the dream, don't let money kill your dream. Okay? Yes, and I just want to tell someone who said that Canada is only the rich people who immigrate to Canada. Please don't be discouraged. Anyone can immigrate here as long as they qualify. I tell people, this country is on merit. You just have to check boxes. You have to check boxes. So you can work around some of these things. If you have any question, if you want help, please talk to me, send me an email. My email is going to be at the description part of this video. Okay? Take care, guys. See you at my next video. Bye now.